Hi everyone, and thank you so much for inviting us to discuss our winning project, Getting to Know Your Boobs, with UK breast cancer charity Copperfield. My name is Kat Rose and I'm the Digital Learning Director at Onclick. Before I talk you through some of the steps we took in designing and building this digital project, I just want to introduce you to our company a little. So Onclick is a bespoke digital learning development agency based in Kent, just outside of London in the UK. We create everything from fully custom-made e-learning courses to engaging digital learning components such as graphics, animation, video and photography. We've been part of the e-learning industry for quite some time now, producing exciting digital learning for over 21 years. In addition to our in-depth instructional design knowledge, our small, friendly design team have a wealth of experience in graphic design, branding, PR and communications. This means that our work is often very design-focused, with promotional techniques at its core to really enhance user engagement. We were thrilled to work with the fabulous charity Copperfield, the UK's only breast cancer charity aimed at educating young people on the importance of being breast aware. This project was also in partnership with and supported by Avon. Initially, the aim was to develop an interactive resource to train Copperfield's boobettes. These are their volunteers with experience of breast cancer that visit schools, workplaces, youth groups, etc., to promote the Copperfield message far and wide. As it turned out, the end resource proved really useful and effective for individuals beyond the volunteer audience, and as a result, Avon proudly shared this free resource to thousands of their reps and customers too. The content of this module really focused around three key objectives: encouraging people to check their boobs regularly, educating on the signs and symptoms, and empowering people to seek advice. It was also a great promotional opportunity to visually build awareness of the Copperfield brand. For this reason, a large focus of our development centred around celebrating the brand's identity. It was therefore really important to customise the Captivate development to their brand guidelines as much as possible. So in designing and building this project, there were a few key techniques we used to really bring it to life. So I'm going to talk you through some of these to give you a real flavour of the project. Pretty much everything you see in this course was custom made and not used directly from the supplied Captivate library. We make use of the full Adobe Creative Suite, including Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, After Effects and Premiere Pro, to create the visual and media assets that sit within our Captivate courses. This includes the design of bespoke navigation buttons, integrating fonts, logos and colour palettes, and creating bespoke graphics, interactions and media throughout. Although there was a lot of information to get across in each of these slides, we didn't want to overwhelm users with mass amounts of copy, but instead layer the information behind buttons and activities. This allowed the user to essentially design their own learning journey and personally explore each page, gathering the information of interest to them. Creating bespoke buttons was a key feature of achieving a fully branded look. Our custom buttons were built using the Shape tool. We first created a selection of PNGs with transparency for each state of the button. Keeping these at the same size and ratio with a few pixels border was essential to a seamless hover. We then created a shape of the same size within Captivate and filled this with the primary custom image. To get this working, it was important to make sure that the Use as Button box was also ticked. Using the state view, we were then able to swap the visuals for the relevant rollover, down, selected, and where necessary, unselected states. Ensuring that every component of the slide was clearly labelled was important to effectively manage these in an interaction. We always aim to use naming formulas on each slide to keep components organised and easy to configure. With lots going on a slide like this, we need to make use of the Advanced Actions feature within Captivate. We created a specific action for each button, which mostly involved the management of states. So here we wanted the button we're on to be selected, and we need to ensure that the other buttons change to unselected. At the same time, we want to swap the state of the image area to the view that matched the relevant button. Encouraging user interaction throughout the course was essential to enhance user engagement. So any opportunity we found to transform content into mini quizzes, clickable visual statistics, or hotspot diagrams, we took it. The signs and symptoms interaction in particular took a fair amount of thought, as we wanted to allow the user to navigate around a body, but also toggle their view between female and male. So for this, we needed to duplicate and build the interaction across 2 parallel slides, but give the impression that they were within the same space. The male and female buttons jumped between the slides, and the main navigation buttons jumped slides within the full course journey. For this reason, we had to manually add the page numbering throughout rather than using the coded option. As well as using the states function to layer information, we also like to make use of the full screen space at times with full content overlays. This was much more tricky to build, but gave a great visual impact. So on the getting off your chest slide, for example, we presented a range of common FAQs in branded speech bubble shapes. Like all other buttons, each image had a variety of states and different colours, created as PNGs in Adobe Illustrator, and were clearly labelled using a naming formula. As the white text was not going to change in the states, we placed this on top as a separate component. For the full overlay, we created a number of grouped components that sat on top. This included a shape at 0% transparency, the exact width and depth of the slide space, and a white cross image configured as a close button. Within the main shape itself, we then added additional states for changing content. There were also 2 additional back buttons with hover states available in pink and blue, dependent upon the overlay colour scheme. All these components had to sit on the top of the timeline to function, so we needed to manually show and hide them in the timeline when working on the content to the back of the slide. There were occasions when we wanted to use variables to create an action upon completion of a number of phases. So here on the booby trap page, we were looking for all buttons to be visited before triggering the reveal of the full content overlay. Variables are the best way to configure a complicated action like this. You can create as many variables as you need via Project in the main menu, giving each a default value of 0. When creating an advanced action that includes variables, you need to use multiple tabs. The first, as normal, is used for the action you'd like the button to undertake. So here we change the state of the button to selected and then assign the variable a literal value of 1. The second is configured as a conditional tab by ticking this box, which will then give you a different layout. Here we're looking for a succession of variables to meet a requirement before an action can be made. So here you'll see that if all buttons on the slide are selected and equal to 1, the full overlay will be revealed. Otherwise, we keep the overlay hidden. Each button needs to run this process, looking to see if the variables meet the requirements each time selected. Unlike states, variables do not reset themselves when you revisit a page, so you need to create an additional action for the page to reset all variables. This action is applied to the slide as a whole on Enter and assigns each variable with a literal value of 0 again, whilst hiding the full overlay. Finally, to ensure the course does not feel flat in operation, we make good use of animations and transitions to load the slides in an appealing way. On the Our Friends page, for example, we use the timing panel to add a mild zoom-in effect with a fade-in transition. Playing around with the effect settings is key to get this looking smooth and modern. For this, we kept the duration to a minimum, ensuring that the animation felt quick and fun. We also manually specified at which point each image should appear. It was much better to do this rigidly using exact timings rather than manually moving components within the timeline itself. There were many elements to building this course, but we hope this gives you a taste of how creating a much more bespoke Captivate delivery can be achieved with a little external design and lots of planning. If you'd like to find out more about bespoke digital learning developments with Onclick, please don't hesitate to check out our website at onclick.co.uk or get in touch with our team on email at info@onclick.co.uk. Thank you.